Hello, everybody. Josh here, and welcome back to another post-show review. Where today I will be going over once again TNA Impact. This time from September 4th, September 4th, 2025, the live edition of TNA Impact. Now, the audio is not going to be as good as it usually is. I mean, the audio is probably it's fine, but I'm not using a microphone today because my current microphone is not working. As if you watch the Dynamite preview review yesterday, you'd see that it was not working. So no microphone today, but I have a new one coming in tomorrow. So you guys are just gonna have to bear with me for this episode, and I will have it back for the Friday Night SmackDown review, unless if my delivery gets postponed or something like that. But as of right now, new microphone is coming in tomorrow, so you guys are just gonna have to bear with me. But before we get into TNA Impact, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. Hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the videos, podcasts, and interviews that come to the channel. Speaking of interviews, make sure to go check out my interview I did with owner and promoter of Destiny World Wrestling, Emilio, the newest episode of the Kayfabe Sessions. We had a fantastic conversation, and it's really worth it, especially if you're a fan of Ontario independent wrestling or even independent wrestling as a whole. That is definitely the interview to go check out. It's a 30-minute interview, and like I said, a fantastic conversation. So go ahead and check that out. It is available on YouTube, on this channel, and Spotify as well. Make sure you guys go check out the Kayfabe Central Ko-Fi page. It's $5 minimum to subscribe to the exclusive wrestling content tier. I have a whole bunch of different things on there as well, and like breakdown and analysis of certain shows, predictions of the weekly shows, sometimes early access to interviews. I had the early access for the Emilio interview up on the Ko-Fi page, so go ahead and check that out. Yeah, check out the Discord server if you want a place to chat it up about wrestling or anything non-wrestling. We're trying to build a community up in the Discord server, so go ahead and check that out. Um, all that out of the way, let's get straight into TNA Impact. If you can't tell, I am exhausted and tired today. And this episode of TNA Impact really didn't do much for me and my energy levels. It was a fine episode. It wasn't like terrible, but it wasn't all that great either. We kicked off the night with Santino Marella coming out to announce Trick Williams versus Mike Santana for Bound for Glory. We knew that was going to happen. Mike Santana then came out. He said if Trick Williams won't show his face in TNA, then he's going to have to go to his home turf, being NXT, and confront him. So likely we're going to see more of Mike Santana on NXT television. The Hardys and Marsha Day were backstage with Gia Miller, and they were asked, about the whole situation with Agent Zero attacking Sade last week, and they're pretty much just out for revenge. We had a backstage segment. Moose went up to Mike Santana and pretty much wished him luck against Chuck Williams and told him to bring the TNA World Championship home. AJ Francis then came into the frame while on the phone with Chuck Williams, and he was like, telling Chuck Williams everything that Mike Santana said. And then, after he hung up, he was just making fun of Santana, making fun of Moose. And then Moose ended up challenging him to a match next week, in which AJ Francis accepted and was made official. So next week will be Moose versus AJ Francis. So that'll be an interesting bout. Um, we had after that, Ryan Nemeth came out to announce that his big brother Nick Nemeth is going to be returning tonight. You know, Ryan Nemeth has been doing this for a week. It's what he does, and I kind of like the fact that he's playing into. He knows that he's in his brother's shadow, and they're really playing into that. So I find that pretty cool. Um, but there is going to come a point where it's just going to be like, okay, this is not new. This is nothing new. It's nothing entertaining anymore. I know it's going to get to that point, and it's getting very close there. But right now, it's still okay. The first match of the night, and this was such a like this felt like such a WWE style booked show because we didn't get into the first match until like 8:25, which in the past TNA is not known to do. But the first match was Frankie Kazarian defeating Matt Cardona, with some help from Ryan Nemeth, who was out there. I completely skipped over a promo. Matt Cardona interrupted Ryan Nemeth, and pretty much said he doesn't care about Ryan Nemeth and he doesn't like his big brother Nick Nemeth. And then hit him on the head with a microphone, and then that's why Ryan Nemeth cost Matt Cardona the match. After the match, Frankie Kazarian was interviewed by Gia Miller and pretty much just took the microphone from Gia Miller, telling her, "I'm going to show you how to do an interview," and then ultimately said that he wants to go after the international championship held by Steve Macklin. He said a whole bunch of insults towards Steve Macklin. I can't remember the exact insults that he said. I didn't write them down or anything. But Steve Macklin then came out, and then Frankie Kazarian ran away. So that looks like it may be a match for Bound for Glory, unless they do that at Victory Road and have something bigger for Macklin at Bound for Glory. That's definitely a possibility. Or maybe they do it at Bound for Glory, and that's where Frankie Kazarian wins the international championship. That is very possible. Um, the Inspiration had a backstage segment saying they're going to keep a close eye on the Elegance celebration. Nothing to break down there. We then had the Elegance celebration. Ash by Elegance was introduced by the personal concierge. Obviously, Heather by Elegance and M by Elegance were all there. And then after a bit of talking, they revealed a art piece for Ash by Elegance, and we just saw this in AEW as well, with Kyle Fletcher and Don Callis. But yeah, an art piece was revealed, and then Masha Slamovich interrupted, and then when she got down to the ring, she pretty much just said that she's going to have a championship match with her with Ash by Elegance at Victory Road, and it was made official by Santino Marella. Once she got down to the ring, she started a fight with the three women. The Elegance brand got the upper hand, but then Mei Ying Lee and Zaya Brookside came out to make the save. The Elegance brand got the upper hand just until the Inspiration came out to send them running away. Pretty okay stuff here. There's nothing too much to break down. The more I see of Masha Slamovich, and there's nothing to take away from her in-ring ability, her promo skills are just not all that great right now. And that's not to say that it can't get better, but her on the microphone is just not good right now, and it doesn't make me feel excited for matches like how a promo should. So she has a lot of work to do on that front. So this segment as a whole, just it was whatever. Obviously we know any celebration in professional wrestling will get interrupted. I mentioned that on my preview on my TikTok as well. After that, they also smashed the painting. The woman that sent the Elegance brand running, they smashed the painting. We had a vignette with Mustafa Ali issuing a warning to the system. We then had a triple threat number one contenders match. The winner going to have a championship match at Bound for Glory for the Knockouts World Championship between Indy Hartwell, Jody Threat, and Danny Luna. A match in which Indy Hartwell picked up the victory by pinning Jody Threat. After the match, however, Danny Luna attacked both Jody and Indy. So I kind of figured Indy Hartwell was the route that they were going to take. It could go to Indy and Masha Slamovich, but it's looking more like they're just going to do the heel face dynamic, which in reality makes more sense. And Ash by Elegance just won that title. So it looks like it's going to be Indy versus Ash by Elegance at Bound for Glory, which is fine. And they're probably going to give Indy Hartwell a big moment there by winning the title at Bound for Glory. After that, we had, and then we're probably going to get Danny Luna and Jody Threat in some capacity, whether it be at Victory Road or Bound for Glory. After that, we had a promo where Joe Hendry came out calling out Eric Young. Eric Young did come out with Judas Icarus, and I forget the other guy's name in the faction as well. But they came out and they said this cleanse is going to start with Joe Hendry, and pretty much repeating what he said in past weeks. Hendry suggests that they have a match tonight, but Eric Young obviously says no, and he says, "I'll fight you next week, though." And then Joe Hendry accepts that challenge. So, um, whatever promo. Honestly, there was nothing to break down on this one, to be honest. Um, yeah, this promo didn't do much for me at all. Um, and maybe I'm being a little too harsh on TNA, but I'm supposed to analyze this and I'm supposed to break it down. And what I saw for TNA Impact today just wasn't that great. Um, like I like the vignette from Mustafa Ali. I mentioned a few weeks ago that I think that Order 4 are really going to take over this company. Um, so yeah, I liked that, but yeah, that was that. We then had a backstage segment with Santino Marella telling Leon Slater that the Rascals are cleared for action because earlier in the week, apparently Leon Slater did an interview where he said he wants competition, he wants to face people like the Rascals. So Santino Marella says he's probably going to make that happen. Didn't make anything official as of yet, though. We then got Trick Williams posting on social media saying that, just reiterating that he's not going to show his face on TNA. Pretty much. That's all that was. And then the main event was the Hardys and Marshaw Day defeating Order 4, Tasha Steelz, Jason Hotch, and John Skyler. Agent Zero got ejected from ringside. After the Hardys and Sade won, Nick Nemeth returned with Ryan Nemeth and ended up dropping the Hardys. And then after that, Nick Nemeth delivered a super kick to Mara Sade. Man, I feel bad for her. She's just 2 weeks in a row now. She's had to take a big bump. So first Agent Zero hits her, and now Nick Nemeth. She can't catch a break. But yeah, that was TNA Impact for September 4th, 2025, the live edition of TNA Impact. As a whole, didn't do much for me, to be honest. I didn't get any more excited for Bound for Glory. They pretty much just reiterated that the Hardys and the Dudleys are going to be facing. Nothing else, really. I didn't feel any advancement in storylines in this episode. I didn't see any character development in this episode. And, that's the thing I bring up a lot because that's important. That is very important for these weekly shows, and that's what these weekly shows are for. And it's to build up the stories. And I don't feel like this show really did that as much. They've done a much better job before. I think they may have just been focused on the live aspect of it, that TNA was actually live. Yeah, and so not much else to break down for TNA Impact here tonight. It was an okay show at best. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this post show on TNA Impact. Let me know what your thoughts are with TNA Impact. If you checked it out, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, it doesn't matter. I always love hearing you guys' opinions. Yeah, let me know in the comment section below. You can let me know in the Discord server. You can let me know on the Kayfabe Central Ko-Fi page, on the Kayfabe Central website. You can let me know on my TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, or X. Many different ways you can let me know. So go ahead and check those out. They're all linked down below in the description, as always. So yeah, once again, let me know. I will see you guys tomorrow for the Friday Night SmackDown post-show review. And if you follow me on TikTok, I will see you sometime early in the day for the Friday Night SmackDown preview for September 5th, 2025. But with that being said, until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.